Naofumi Iwatani finds himself caught in a serene moment at the ocean, the waves' rhythmic crashing providing a soothing backdrop. He and Raphtalia chat about the sea and the upcoming challenges. As Raphtalia reminisces about her life by the ocean, they prepare for an inevitable battle. Their discussion is interlaid with Naofumi's reflections on how he ended up here, serving as the shield hero in a foreign world. Naofumi recalls his experiences in this new world, one vastly different from his own. Here, gaining experience through defeating monsters is much like an MMORPG. Despite the shield hero being a defensive specialist, Naofumi struggles initially due to his inability to inflict damage. His past hardships and the betrayal he faced from his own kind weigh heavily on him. Raphtalia, once a young slave girl, became his first true ally. She was a demi-human with distinct features that set her apart. Her growth and transformation beside Naofumi, after he freed her and purchased her as a slave, formed an unbreakable bond between them. Naofumi respects Raphtalia deeply, as her unwavering trust and loyalty became his cornerstone. Philo, his second trusted companion, brings a different dynamic to the group. She appears as a young girl with striking blonde hair and dazzling blue eyes in her human form, charming anyone with her carefree demeanor. Yet, as a Philolial queen, her true form is that of a huge bird-like creature with immense strength and speed. Her constant energy and playful spirit bring joy and occasional challenges to the team. As they reminisce on past battles and lost camaraderies, Raphtalia and Naofumi consider their next moves. Naofumi proposes forming an alliance with others for the coming wave, while Raphtalia showcases her knowledge of cultural and political intricacies, particularly about Melromark, a nation rife with conflict and prejudice against demi-humans. Melromark's queen has been a staunch supporter of Naofumi and his comrades against the religious sect attempting to control the political narrative against the shield hero. Her diplomatic efforts were crucial in stabilizing the kingdom politically while Naofumi and his team faced multiple adversaries. Reflecting on their tumultuous journey through Melromark, including falsely charged crimes and the unfolding drama with the Melromark royalty and other heroes, Naofumi senses the depth of the calamity they narrowly escaped. Raphtalia reminds Naofumi of their complicated history with adversaries Lark and Toise, who once fought beside them, yet turned out to be part of the enemy during the Kalmyra incident. Naofumi's merchant dealings on the island display his business acumen and adaptability. The outrageous prices at Kalmyra spark a tense confrontation, leading Naofumi to use both status and persuasion to negotiate for a better deal. Despite initial tension, the interaction ends on a win-win note, reinforcing Naofumi's reputation as a shrewd and respected figure. This segues into Naofumi and Raphtalia preparing to meet with the other heroes, during which Raphtalia is urged to avoid open conflict due to past hostilities within the party. It's clear the scars from betrayal and prejudice have yet to fade. As Naofumi enters the meeting, he encounters Renamaki, Itsuki Kawasumi, and Motoyasu Kitamura, the other legendary heroes from Japan summoned to this world, each bringing their unique strengths and idiosyncrasies to the table. Despite variance in personality and motivation, the unifying threat forces them to cooperate, however begrudgingly. Naofumi's inner reflections reveal an intricate mosaic of camaraderie, scars from past betrayals, and new challenges looming on the horizon. As he navigates complex alliances and ever-present threats, Naofumi must carve paths of hope and resilience alongside his trusted companions, facing each wave with fortified resolve. As the dust settles from yet another intense confrontation, Naofumi contemplates the mystery surrounding the records of the four holy weapons. He's perplexed that a legend so essential to their world remains an enigma. Naofumi sits down wearily. "Yeah, well. The storm is still raging out there, so we can't leave yet," he mutters. The heroes had recently united in an attempt to level up and collect drop items, but it proved futile. Lark and his group had attacked unexpectedly, leaving Naofumi to fend them off with his defensive strategies. Lark and Toise had been powerful adversaries. Naofumi recalls using his shield to block their relentless attacks. He stands firm beside his allies, Raphtalia and Philo, who fought bravely alongside him. At one point, Naofumi feels like they're gaining ground, until Lark's scythe strikes against his shield. He recalls the impact. "I had a really high defense rating, and I'd been able to withstand Lark's attacks up until that point, but not that attack. That one had really hurt. Even with his high defenses, the tide of battle begins to turn against them as Lark showcases unexpected techniques. Recalling each strategic decision, Naofumi explains the challenge of compensating for his team's strengths and weaknesses. Each hero, including the newly interested Glass, offers formidable offense, while Naofumi alone bears the defense mantle. Yet, the onslaught seemingly never ends until Therese retreats, leaving Naofumi both relieved and confused. With the immediate threat over, Naofumi is preoccupied with a pivotal question: could the heroes eventually become powerful enough to independently stop these attacks? He's all too aware of the gravity resting solely on his shoulders. In the aftermath, the heroes gather with Queen Melremark to discuss power-up methods and better strategies to fortify their capabilities. Naofumi grapples with the skepticism of other heroes skeptical about his success. They accuse Naofumi of cheating, yet he assures them that, indeed, the altered growth of Raphtalia and Philo is tied to hidden system exploits unique to his shield. I already told you how, but you just don't believe me because you're all idiots. Melremark watches over this tumultuous meeting, suggesting patience to explore the accuracy of Naofumi's methods, but the other heroes discern differently. Slowly, as they internalize the revelation, the understanding of Naofumi's advantage dawns on them. It's not only about power, it's about consistent innovation within the frameworks of their world. During this exchange, Naofumi shares the reality of their reliance on their potent weapons conjured through the records of these historical texts, the holy weapons they wield. A discussion then unfurls about logistical means to unlock their true abilities. Itsuki, Ren, and Motoyasu throw around ideas but remain perplexed by the nature of their shared dilemma. While humor and frustration bubble to the surface, no singular answer seems forthcoming. Realization dawns: the truth lies beyond established powers. The Queen interjects, redirecting the conversation toward unfamiliar legends, the Seven-Star Heroes, another foundational cadre of champions similar to the main quartet. These heroes operate with weapons distinct from the sacred ones known so intimately by Naofumi and his peers. Yet subtly linked to the world's lore, including the legend of Lark's Scythe, used by those beyond this world. When the Queen questions if they'd encountered otherworldly scythe-based adversaries, Naofumi wonders if their conflicts span universes. Maybe their world is on the other side of those rifts that appear during the waves, he offers. As the Queen unveils layers about these forgotten legends and counterweapons, its vastness grows apparent to those around. This broader rippling narrative, a symphony of swords, hammers, projectile weapons, gauntlets, claws, axes, whips, but none embrace the shield. The discourse shifts from straightforwardness to introspection. There remain untold connections between the present and historic, inexplicable warrior categories linking worlds and powers yet to dawn fully upon them. Thus, newly discovered possibilities ripple outward, fraying and aligning their futures, untethered by ancient design confined within tales yet fully realized. All the while, Naofumi considers his tactics, yearning for fervent days where his team defines its victories unshackled by unknown past threats. Unfazed, he stands vigilant over another dawn, hoping to harness power anew amidst wavering defenses. And in grasping seeds of power, newfound resolutions teeter at the edge, promising more hopeful dawns and intricate adversary dynamics where newfound unity binds not just strength, but promise itself. Naofumi stands with the Queen and other heroes, discussing the overwhelming threat of the waves. If the world is so large for even our legendary weapons to cover it all, the Queen muses, they wouldn't stand a chance against monsters appearing everywhere. Naofumi asserts that relying entirely on the Philolials would be foolish. What he needs is to grow stronger himself, and to prepare for whatever might come. The only reliable way, he realizes, is personal battle readiness. As the conversation progresses, Naofumi finds he carries a silent frustration. The other heroes, Motoyasu, Ren, and Itsuki, don't seem eager for combat training or preparation. They'd rather lounge in luxury, completely misunderstanding the gravity of the situation. Knowing he needs to gear up for what's ahead, Naofumi hopes the heroes will see the importance of training, eventually. Later, as Naofumi reminisces about recent battles, snippets of gratitude flutter into his mind. Rishia's intervention during the battle with Lark had been critical. She'd shown incredible resolve. Acknowledging the shift in how Itsuki's team perceives her, Naofumi hopes this recognition might pull Rishia out of her previously subordinate status. The Queen requests Naofumi's presence post-meeting. She cryptically implies significant information should remain under wraps, for their protection. Melty approaches with updates on the star heroes and other pressing matters linked to recent events. As they deliberate, Naofumi comprehends the layers of complexity and trust woven into their discussions. Naofumi ponders over the dimensional rifts, quizzing the Queen about their timing and locales. The rifts ominously appear soon, recalibrating the urgency of their preparations. The Queen unfolds a geographical map, each hourglass pinpointing drama yet to come. Bearing in mind Futuria's predictive warnings, Naofumi agrees on a need for intense preparation before chaos resumes. Returning from strategizing sessions, Naofumi encounters Rishia, teetering under a mountain of shopping bags. Her frail demeanor tugs at his sense of empathy. She's been subjected to lowly tasks, contributing uneasily under the weight of expectations and insecurities. Feelings of compassion commingle with a drive to assist as Naofumi helps Rishia with her burdens. They chat, revealing Rishia's refuge story and association with Itsuki, how personal tragedy catalyzed her current journey. "What kind of person do you take me for?" Naofumi's gentle interrogation draws out Rishia's narrative, the expulsions and ignominy caused by oppressive governance. The scenario resonates, rekindling Naofumi's memory of past encounters he'd inadvertently been a part of. Pressure to articulate her circumstances, Rishia regales the nuggets of past existence, life in a demanding yet loving home till oppressive taxes carved ruptures through family's fabric. Against dread, a massacre was thwarted, revelations born during the clash with an antagonist known as the Bow Hero. Comforting Rishia, Naofumi reassures her potential, fostering a journey of empowerment. Her path, tangled but imbued with vigor, seems poised to reveal depths of dedication. The window into her backstory refreshingly reminds Naofumi of his supporting role, evidencing a fruitful alliance. Full understanding consolidates his faith in their shared purpose, fortifying against looming threats by engaging courage and discernment. Intermittently weaving thoughts and strategies, Naofumi focuses on escalating combat skill and crest knowledge essential to withstand surging adversaries. Realizing languages hold advancement answers, awareness of each aspect, teamwork, weapons, tactical deft, naturally weaves into preparing the heroes and their fervent allies. Remembering Futuria's cryptic tales regarding the waves, Naofumi spins tales to Philolial. There are quizzical glances and unknown fates that allow room for unearthly revelations awaiting unfurling. After insular affairs and territory maintenance stem perturbations, patio contemplation grounds him securely against myriad tidal shifts. There, he encapsulates lessons intertwined with forethought on meaning as exhaustion coagulates with firm resolve. As darkness settles outside the battlements, Naofumi discovers himself amid countless evolving plans underway for broader combat readiness, a necessity sparked from frontrunners demanding harmony. Each confrontation thus far left residues, a fragmentary amalgam of what Pegasus, Melremark, ethereal resistance, and ancient prototypes tangled between stirred horseless echoes demand. Lids heavy against gentle senses of milfoil heads preside silently in the forecasted battles while sounds excel understanding through great lands across terror-ridden fronts. Such instrumental discourse, etched seamlessly through blending motives and audiogram-grave tales, factor before long as more skies wane toward vetted diversions chartering reflective renewals. Naofumi stands in the hallway, contemplating how to approach Motoyasu about Rishia's distress. He knocks on Motoyasu's door. A woman answers, eyeing Naofumi with suspicion. Ignoring the hostile welcome, Naofumi insists on seeing Motoyasu, determined to uncover the truth. Motoyasu arrives, surrounded by his usual entourage of admiring women. Naofumi, suppressing his irritation, gets straight to the point. He confronts Motoyasu, hoping to understand the situation. Motoyasu leads Naofumi to a secluded terrace for a private conversation. As they talk, Motoyasu explains what transpired. Naofumi questions him about Rishia's recent emotional turmoil. Motoyasu reveals what he knows, but his explanation leaves Naofumi unsatisfied and more determined to get to the bottom of things. Agitated, Naofumi decides to confront Itsuki directly. He barrels into Itsuki's room, finding him with his underlings. Naofumi demands answers, accusing them of failing Rishia. Itsuki appears unfazed but finally acknowledges Rishia's situation, triggered by Naofumi's accusation. Naofumi learns about the broken bangle incident. Itsuki's underlings had accused Rishia, reinforcing suspicions and ultimately leading to her expulsion from the party. Rishia, attempting to defend herself, found herself unwanted and on the brink of despair. The revelation hits Naofumi hard. Fury and sympathy for Rishia well up within him as he considers the unjust treatment she received. He realizes the extent of pressure on Rishia and how her fate was sealed without proper justification or understanding. Trying to process it all, Naofumi focuses on Itsuki's justification about cheating through their adventures and facing deception attempts. Itsuki seems convinced his actions were out of concern for Rishia despite causing her deep harm. Naofumi sees through Itsuki's self-rationalization, recognizing a deeper issue. There were complexities in Itsuki's actions and motives, likely rooted in immaturity and a misunderstanding of responsibility. Rishia, shattered by the rejection, prays for re-evaluation from Itsuki. Yet, with no support forthcoming, her sense of self-worth crumbles. It's clear to Naofumi she genuinely admired and valued Itsuki, now leaving her in a state of utter vulnerability. Witnessing this, Naofumi vows to empower Rishia, offering her the chance to prove her capabilities. He invites her into his party, recognizing her need for support and growth, determined to show her value beyond Itsuki's misjudgment. Rishia hesitates, blaming herself for perceived failures, but Naofumi's insistence and confidence spark a glimmer of hope in her. The dynamic among the characters reshapes, with Rishia considering joining Naofumi's party as a path forward. As anger and determination fuel Naofumi, he resolves to adapt Rishia's skills into their team, elevating her to prove she's more than what Itsuki observed. The challenge now lay in reshaping her potential with newfound purpose, proving the power of belief and support. The task of organizing the party's dynamics and roles is at the forefront of Naofumi's mind. Raphtalia is tasked with adjusting her role, especially regarding Philo's offensive capabilities. Philo, although powerful, can be unpredictable, and Naofumi wants to ensure strategic harmony within the group. Rishia receives particular attention from Naofumi. He's skeptical of her outward perception of weakness, partly fueled by her previous association with Itsuki, which begs the question, could she really have been that ineffectual? Naofumi considers configuring her role to be a versatile one, helping with support magic and other tasks the team might need. Naofumi reminisces about the kigurumi Rishia had worn, realizing its potential magic-enhancing effects would complement her skills. Despite possessing it, Naofumi had hesitated to allow the usage without truly understanding its advantages. He offers it to Rishia now, recognizing it as an aid she had valued greatly during tough times with Ren's party. Raphtalia observes silently as Rishia's resolve is tested. The best way forward is for Rishia to confront her limitations and decide on her own goals. "Let's work together and get stronger, okay?" she says. Rishia's voice carries a renewed sense of determination, and Naofumi notes her excitement at joining the party officially. The group finds moments of camaraderie and support, sealing their resolve by welcoming Rishia into their ranks. It's a moment ripe with possibilities as they face the wave, entering a strategic and preparation-heavy phase. The coastal storms ease, signaling a downtime. Naofumi takes stock of new abilities unlocked from the materials they gathered. Each piece represents meticulous grinding, poised to bolster their defenses in future battles. Understanding which skills serve them best is key as Naofumi identifies some promising shields, intrigued by their abilities though they're not yet unlocked. Upon returning, their primary objective is to coordinate with the Queen about transportation and logistics related to the imminent wave. Naofumi liaises with his allies, ensuring they're optimizing their preparation time. Various practical concerns, like the condition of their carriage and harnessing supply trains, are inspected thoroughly. Even features of advancement, a teleportation solution, come under review, ensuring they'll swiftly maneuver across battlefields. Time in the warehouse, ostensibly acquiring combative tools, turns meaningful. The wealth of items accumulated from the battle serves not just an equipment function but also a binding, team-spirited objective. Aspects beyond mere strengthening, upgrading Raphtalia and Philo's gear, emerge, each accessory an incremental boost toward cohesion. Raphtalia and Naofumi converse over options for Rishia, recognizing her inclination toward magic-compatible weaponry. As ideas sprout, a consensus on pursuing armor solutions seamless with Rishia's fighting style takes hold. Discussions of mysticism around the Kigurumi highlight its potential, not just for Rishia's skills but the tangible transformation it offers her identity. Naofumi, ever pragmatic, focuses on creating impactful enhancements from scratch. The ensemble recognizes a growing strength in nurturing one another's aspirations through masterful craft. Amidst preparations, a friendly face emerges, nice guy, with a wag-eared child in tow. The child, Keel, from Raphtalia's village, ignites memories of past encumbrance. Yet today heralds hope, a visible recommitment to advocacy and partnership. Discussions reach Keel's role in the fight ahead, both planning proactively for development and addressing Raphtalia's hesitations about Keel facing danger. Each interaction reinforces values of choice, friendship, and empowerment as Naofumi and his allies commit to holistic teamwork. Addressing such emotionally weighted concerns doesn't simply map their impending strategy but nurtures the human, vulnerable ties binding them. Discussions turn reflective, allowing resolve and synergy to emerge revitalized in the Twilight's determination. Individually fortified and together anew, their resolve embodies not just singular quest campaigns against deadly tides but the ongoing, intimate yarns of redemption. Support flows as much from shared defeats as victories, shaping an alliance more robust than weapons alone. Learning from yesterday's trials, form titans, fortifications rise, and bonds, immortalized through alliance, demonstrate strength unbroken. Rishia, filled with determination, declares her ambition, "I want to be the strongest there is." Obviously. Keel echoes this desire. Naofumi cuts to the chase, "Then both of you need to become my slaves." The courtyard erupts in disbelief. Rishia, shocked by the suggestion, recalls her past accusations against Naofumi. But the logic is unyielding in this world. They'll grow stronger more efficiently by becoming his slaves due to an ability called maturation adjustment, a benefit tied to Naofumi's class as a hero. As Naofumi explains, Raphtalia brings clarity about the reality of their inadequate power. Characters who'd betrayed or sidelined them never grew. It's sink or swim for Keel and Rishia. Conflicted, Rishia whispers, unsure. Yet, knowing the gravity of their mission alongside Naofumi, she begins to reconsider. Raphtalia's faith in Naofumi reassures her, he's a good person even if sometimes a bit selfish. With resolve hardening, Rishia decides, I'm in. I want to be strong. Keel follows suit. They head to see the Queen, setting the plan in motion. After the formalities of the enslaving ceremony, Keel and Rishia bear the seals but remarkably do so voluntarily. Their first combat advisor meeting is with the Queen, who's bringing in an ace from among the kingdom's best. Naofumi's choices this time aren't dependent on status but skill, paid in trust towards becoming a capable team. With high hopes pegged on leveling up through battle experience, Naofumi sets up the fundamental training with direct input. It's imperative since characters like Rishia have stats too low to excel otherwise. They've laid out paths tailored to yield significant progress. Philo's version of boot camp begins, spirited instruments of discipline that none escaped unscathed. As Raphtalia assumes a teaching role, the contrast between effortless training formality and the bygone rigor materializes. Naofumi marvels at her evolution from a simple novice to a motherly teacher. Importantly, this chapter of growth takes another step as Rishia now gets pushed through this vigorous, defining routine. In midst of this bustling combat readiness lies the task of measuring potential. Raphtalia recently learned striking lessons from Eclair, the Queen's recommended advisor. As a winner of notable tournaments, she enriches Raphtalia with rigorously sharpened combat strategies, which they now try. Fast forward to another day's progression, the rigors punctuate an unusual blend between tutelage and exercise. Each detail, like demanding the phrase, "inspiration sword," becomes the application fused in their fighting craft. Yet strikes by weapons doused with magic don't surpass Naofumi's legendary defenses, outlasting nuanced assaults and establishing the prestigious bond and efficacy in acquiring structured strategies. Naofumi orchestrates a reflection of messiah, profound truths after unveiled frustrations from conventionalities and self-fulfillment trials. Ordinary flaws demand hope, patience, and methodical achievements, cumbersome shifts faster paced than usual. Despite this, steady growth under matchmaking guidance from Naofumi seems the vital resolution toward surmounting true adversities. With collaborative struggles on daylight training sessions closely documented, strategies become larger than schemas construed over long dialogues. Trails excel afterwards, sustaining morale within prided strength, aiming high with prospective dreams and a world reliant on their passions and power from camaraderie. The morning arrives with Naofumi in his chamber when a soldier knocks at the door, delivering a message that the queen wants to meet him. Still groggy from sleep, Naofumi notices Raphtalia, already awake and changed, and Rishia, sprawled across the floor after falling out of bed while wearing a pajama-like onacy. Raphtalia and Naofumi exchange greetings. She swiftly helps Rishia prepare for morning drills to avoid any mishaps with Itsuki, illustrating the diligence Naofumi expects. As Raphtalia heads off with Rishia, Naofumi departs to see the queen, intrigued by the early morning summons. In the throne room, the queen, looking worn but determined, awaits Naofumi. She informs Naofumi about sending out inquiries for other combat advisors who might assist, as promised previously. One warrior, proficient in a style called the Henjin Muso style, may prove beneficial. The queen's talk of legendary techniques sparks Naofumi's interest, especially the mysterious strengths linked to them. Wondering if he might have overlooked such a powerful figure among recent crowds, Naofumi's attention is suddenly captured by the arrival of Raphtalia, alarmingly chastising Rishia for sleepovers. Laying in jest, Raphtalia ushers in a note of levity among the growing serious preparations. Before long, the mysterious combat advisor reveals herself, the old lady Naofumi knows from battles past. Dressed grandly, she confirms her readiness to teach anticipatory skills, remarking on Rishia's unexpected aptitude. Despite Rishia's unassuming level, the old lady seizes the opportunity, noting that girl learns very quickly. Naofumi strategizes on how even advanced users could learn the arts without directly employing weapons, ensuring versatility among party members. Though Raphtalia, Philo, and Eclair join separate traineeship preparatory efforts, Naofumi ponders a component of the warrior's skills that transcends mere technique or force. The old lady orchestrates an understanding of energy control, emphasizing enhancement and flexibility over brute force. Eclair and Naofumi discuss openly around leveraging these strategic overlays not merely limited to traditional weapon use, cultivating explorative advancements on defense. The intriguing choices left to them are cumbersome but also saturated with potential. With time and wave constraints, strategy becomes synonymous with possibility, and flexibility fields significant regard in the scope of this newfound knowledge. Encouraged by open possibilities, Naofumi sees opportunity embed heritage battle styles as measures anticipated, not circumstantial. Unexpected reluctance from Motoyasu, Ren, and Itsuki signifies a separation in will. These heroes choose not to learn from traditions that conflate ancient styles with newer forms, slightly baffling Naofumi. Their steadfast reluctance pushes Naofumi to weigh the proof of technique intertwined with fundamental hero skill sets. Eclair's introduction of a spar with Ren highlights practices showcased without hero reflexes, benefiting solely from initial learning capabilities. Lastly, a duel between Eclair and Ren appears inevitable. Their intuition mixed with spirit refrains them from purely conventional fantasy, resulting in unfurling commitments to individual improvement alone through distinct experiences. Naofumi walls away Eclair's victorious bout as tactics culminate upon others awaiting separate journeys in mastering respective approaches while future bouts might reach beyond foreseeable forecasts. Weapon precision sometimes requires craft sharpened by familiarity, grounded in unyielding distinction beyond those within morning's nascent lessons call. With Raphtalia's firmness predicting unseen strategies unfolding, possibility appears limitless, an untapped horizon for battles forthcoming still hidden. In the heat of the battle between Ren and Eclair, there's an undeniable tension. Eclair, raising her sword, calls out for him to begin, and both charge in, exchanging strikes with fierce determination. As Ren attacks, Eclair dodges gracefully, urging Ren to take the fight seriously. Ren is forced to use advanced maneuvers, desperately trying to keep up with Eclair's swift movements. Eclair's formidable skill is evident as she corners Ren, pushing him onto the defensive. Ren's frustration mounts as Eclair persistently dodges his attacks and critiquing his efforts, asking if he dodged on purpose as a joke. Her critique is sharp but sincere, revealing her disappointment. Ren finds himself cornered, hopping around in desperation, a far cry from the mastery Eclair demonstrates. Suddenly, a bright light emanates from Ren's sword, knocking Eclair's sword away. This unexpected victory momentarily surprises Ren, but it's short-lived as Eclair angrily asserts that he's not fighting to his true potential. Eclair mentions, "You're a really low level, so anytime I use just a fraction of my real power, this is what happens." Eclair had worked tirelessly honing her swordsmanship, and her irritation at Ren's attitude underscores the dynamic between them. She fondly remembers learning alongside a mysterious group, implying that there's more to understanding power beyond winning battles artificially. Eclair advises Ren on facing reality rather than clinging to past victories online, advising him to go train for a while and come back. Frustration turns into discussions among the group about their abilities honed from online games. Motoyasu and Itsuki chime in, expressing a shared disbelief at the disparity in Ren's perception of skill. They recognize having a realistic approach is vital, considering what they're about to face. Later, Queen Sieto also takes this moment seriously, emphasizing the importance of their upcoming mission and urging the team to get stronger. It's an intense moment of accountability, and the closing focuses on them preparing, packing their things and heading to the mountains. As they delve into training, a new chapter unfolds. They reach a set spot in the mountains, an opportunity to meditate and understand energy. Sitting in a circle, everyone seems less than enthusiastic. Naofumi reflects on the concept of energy, comparing it to his experiences with magic. He lightly muses to himself over various thoughts enriching his past adventures. Naofumi tries a novel approach to profoundly channel his SP like magic, guessing this all seems completely useless to me, and navigating through painstaking physical insights with the idea causing him a bit of a breakthrough. Here, the old lady appears, a transformation erupts, using life force, not magic, to challenge Naofumi. Optimism grows as he finally manages to focus internally, using life energy as if weaponizing his shield. The realization taps into another layer of strength altogether. The training is an intense ordeal, and despite the stresses, a profound societal outlook emerges, this concept of energy, a driving force stronger than any learned ability. Leading by example, Naofumi muses the journey happening within, a training breaking ground on broader themes beyond physical might. Back in the material world, Naofumi interacts over creating something critical, a drink derived from the synthesis of soul healing and magic water. The crafting is detailed, and its mixed reception by Rishia brings about hopeful curiosity. She even verifies its taste, saying it offers a sweetness. Eclair comments on Naofumi's growth and progress, sparking further reflection. The training intensifies emotions brewing unlawfully from soft undertones deepened whilst preparing their allies, bolstering them for impending crises. The combined effects of comprehensive training, new learnings on strategic alliances, and developing energy compel them beyond ordinary survival, now striving towards defending with earnest fortification against expectant existential challenges. If newfound revelations thrive within enabling shifts in warrior realms to blur, allied victories infuse breadth, the commitment handsomely expands horizons unknown until braving self-imposed heroes extending awareness terrains beyond fleck gathering, collated first alongside old methods whilst recognizing spirit expanding stronger collective compass towards advancing memoir skies undiscovered yet. In a secluded, mystical world, Naofumi and his companions are deep in the midst of their unconventional training regimen. Naofumi has been experimenting with the use of life force water, a magical substance intended to enhance combat capabilities. He begins his day by administering this elixir to his disciple, Rishia, and asks her, "Well? Do you feel any different?" The elixir is supposed to boost strength and vigor, but Rishia feels a peculiar warmth spreading through her body instead. As Naofumi observes, the potion might not be working as anticipated. Suddenly, the old woman overseeing their training chants an ancient spell, Zwaita Aura, upon Rishia. This causes an unexpected reaction, making Rishia exclaim to Naofumi, "Fair! My body won't stop." Rishia, now unable to control her energy, charges at Naofumi aggressively. Despite his superior defense abilities, the force of her collision surprises him. Rishia, now driven by the chaotic energy, rambles in fear and unintentionally strikes Naofumi before he restrains her to prevent further harm. As the chaos diminishes, Rishia sits wary and exhausted. "I can't believe I have so much power," she admits, the realization dawning on her. Naofumi, hopeful yet concerned, reflects on the span and impact of this enhanced power, contemplating, "There's a limit to how much life force water we could handle." Turning with optimism to his other companion, Raphtalia, Naofumi administers the same dose. However, she does not experience the drastic transformation that Rishia did. Hoping these enhancements would bolster their abilities, Naofumi feels the consternation of meager results. Even when others try their hand at tough training tasks like punching through rocks, the results are disappointing. Meanwhile, the tension among Naofumi and the other heroes intensifies as they persistently ignore the value of their efforts and their attempts at progression. It's becoming increasingly clear that teamwork is a distant goal. The subsequent days bring additional frustrations as other heroes openly sabotage the training. Ren, one of the other heroes, goes missing, rejecting Rishia's heartfelt argument for the importance of collaboration against insurmountable odds. When they confront Naofumi, the dissent is palpable. "Why are you bothering us?" an exasperated Ren bellows. Motivated by a mix of ego and misunderstanding, Ren argues against what he perceives as Naofumi's cheating methods, unwilling to trust in the cooperative training Naofumi espouses. Naofumi tries to counter, pointing out how their lack of cooperation endangers them. "You are so snug I can't stand it," he scolds. Perpetually defiant, Ren, flanked by Motoyasu and Itsuki, resists the guidance. Consequently, a confrontation with the Queen underscores their rebellious attitudes. The Queen warns them of unintended ramifications if they persist in their disruptive ways, exiling them from the kingdom if they don't adhere to the given orders. "Fine. We just need to agree to those two conditions, right?" Ren says, grudgingly conceding. Alongside this turmoil are mysteriously reported creatures emerging throughout Melremark. The difficulty of these unfolding challenges quickens Naofumi's heart. "I don't have time to listen to them any longer," he declares, reasserting his determination to continue their experiments. Despite facing minimal success in unlocking latent abilities, Naofumi resolvedly recognizes participants' individual progress. Keel aligns his training fatefully with Meltis' teachings, reaping unexpected dividends in his communal prowess. Rishia stumbles upon the resonances in powers that once appeared beyond her. As their group ventures onwards, masked threats shroud the path, approaching rapidly. An enigmatic woman suddenly approaches Naofumi, fervently pleading, "Please, I beg you. You must destroy me." Her bewildering request heralds opaque motivations, understanding evades him, and she vanishes before more can be gleaned. Turning once again to matters pressing, Naofumi's dedication tests not solely physical boundaries but also limits of patience, compassion, and alliances beyond the superficial twists of fate. In the midst of developing Naofumi Iwatani's heroic journey, he takes a moment to craft new weapons. Naofumi, a shield hero, is fascinated by the quality and features of the items he has forged. As he observes, the Usoni sword boasts enhanced abilities in agility and swordsmanship skill, while the Tinult claw impresses with agility and magpie skill. The negative effects have been stripped away, leaving only benefits, making these weapons quite potent. Recalling his gaming experiences, Naofumi is grateful the weapons are devoid of negative impacts. This reminds him how in previous games, equipment often came with such drawbacks. Here, it seems, he's managed to eliminate them effectively. The modifications bring a sense of relief and pride. During this process, Naofumi interacts with Usapiru Inult, a knowledgeable old man familiar with the legendary monsters of Kalmyra. Inult expresses curiosity and appears impressed by Naofumi's craftsmanship. Naofumi also catches up with Keel, who has grown up with Raphtalia, one of Naofumi's close companions. The two greet each other warmly. Keel, tuning his skills, asks about weapon preferences. Naofumi humorously notes how Keel should stick to a sword given his current skill set. After acquiring a reasonably priced sword from the storehouse, Keel is set, his face brightening at the sword hero's willingness to help. Before leaving, Naofumi reflects on a peculiar kigurumi, a costume resembling a fallolial, left by Rishia. Though initially puzzled, the kigurumi is revealed to grant immense defense and agility bonuses. Despite its odd appearance, its functional effects are undeniable. Naofumi encourages Keel to wear it if it fits, always eager to optimize the teen's capabilities. The narrative then shifts, with Naofumi traveling by carriage alongside his companions Philo, Raphtalia, and Eclair. They head to a remote village, determined to solve a mysterious cause of trouble that's spreading across the country. Naofumi reassures Keel about the journey, promising that the experience will prepare him for upcoming battles. Upon arriving at an overgrown village, they meet a villager expressing gratitude for the increased harvest due to Naofumi's prior assistance with a bioplant seed. The farming improvements appear significant, but not without their quirks, as evidenced by a continuous bounty of large, yet repetitive fruits. While partaking in this bountiful harvest, the group discusses the presence of abnormal monsters, trying to make sense of recent strange occurrences. A corpse of an unusual monster is shown to them. Its shell and singular eye are unique enough to raise eyebrows but leave many questions unanswered. The mysterious creature is hypothesized to be some noble's pet or related somehow to witchcraft. While Raphtalia evaluates it, Rishia realizes such monsters didn't naturally belong to that region, possibly associated with past encounters in Philo-Ryle territory. As the party contemplates extra layers of confusion unfold, a swarm of similar mysterious monsters descends upon the village, aiming at the most vulnerable villagers. Naofumi organizes defenses swiftly, coordinating an air strike to hinder the beast's flight while rallying everyone into protective formation. Bearing formidable combat tactics, they aim to shield the villagers. Shielding travelers with his skills, Naofumi orchestrates a protective field, keeping the group safe from potential harm as they systematically target the monsters. Although Keel struggles with some attacks, Rishia shows significant growth by delivering calculated critical hits against the monsters. In the awareness of danger, the party discovers evidence suggesting the strange monsters are guarding territory rather than indiscriminately attacking structures. They regroup and close out their encounters with reminiscence, monitoring the quiet scenery and reflecting on the learning opportunities preserved. As night falls, Naofumi plans further and calculates the next course of action, gathering all new information. He intends on conferring with the castle's authorities. With the mystery deepening, it seems there's more to uncover. The village is left promised protection as Naofumi teleports back to share his findings with the other warriors, including consultation with the wiser queen regarding defensive strategies against these complexly connected monster waves. Seated in council, Naofumi and the other heroes debrief, alliances are strengthened, information exchanged, and theories put forth. It remains essential to act promptly against these bizarre monster appearances, securing safety and maintaining order as their adventurers stretch across multiple fronts. Amidst the strategic analyses, the weight of Naofumi's role as a shield hero consolidates in unwavering resolve, channeling efforts toward a mysterious unfolding battle enveloping a breadth of territories and resources. Naofumi is surrounded by tension and suspicion among the heroes. Ren's voice cuts through the air, questioning why Naofumi assumes leadership. The atmosphere sizzles with distrust. Each hero turns away, refusing to engage. The burden of managing their impudence is heavy, yet Naofumi presses on, trying to comprehend their bizarre behavior. Reports of strange monsters flooding in from various regions prompt urgency. The Queen shares the troubling news that the monsters span a vast area. It seems they're moving from east to west, she declares. It strikes Naofumi, an encounter with a mysterious woman before he left the village led him to wonder about connections beyond what seemed apparent. Returning to his village, Naofumi is met with concern. Raphtalia dashes toward him, anxiety etched on her face. Keel awakes, startled but unharmed, adding layers to the strange occurrences. Naofumi tends to his injuries, urgency underpinning his actions. They discover the bioplants, once benign, now cause destruction, overtaking villages. Horror unfolds as they realize these monsters plant eggs, ensuring perpetual chaos. A crisis looms ahead, the need to burn the bodies apparent, else risk catastrophic growth. Keel's pain is indicative of deeper chaos, and despite the urgency, bodies need tending. The villagers are fearful, yet Naofumi and Raphtalia rally them. They brandish weapons, ready to stand against a formidable creature bearing down upon the village. Naofumi identifies the beast's strength, it's unlike anything average adventurers could face. As it lunges, their combined prowess prevents catastrophe. Even though Philo can't accompany Naofumi to chase down the other heroes, he understands the urgency of guessing their motivations. Meanwhile, Rishia ponders over a monster's likeness, recalling a legend about spirit tortoises, mythical beasts linked to global protection. Her insights, although hesitant, connect back to fabled times. Naofumi's realization points to deeper concerns. The spirit tortoise is believed to protect against future disasters, a perilous balance now disturbed. As they plan defense strategies, the spirit of urgency reignites. Reports indicate nearby countries have hostile confrontations. The heroes' actions, misaligned against unwelcome invaders, demand immediate response. Naofumi deliberates over following them. The need to protect, not only engage, and restrain from unrelenting destruction becomes paramount. Naofumi strategizes a way to keep pace using a teleportation point with help from Fitoria. Yet, there's another layer of distress. The factions warn a time may come when long-held barriers fall by necessity. Fitoria's warnings echo ominously, suggesting inevitable sacrifice, spoken with cryptic certainty. He explains the looming threat to the Philolial Queen, who watches over them with a reminder of protective duty. With the sense of history weighing on her, Naofumi witnesses context-stripped raw heroes, intent on unfettered action, tipping towards chaos. The perilous scale of dimensional collapse from meddled seals starts to twist reality. Arriving in the adjacent country, echoes of turmoil rise to meet them. Monstrous forces press in closer, cycles interrupted with Naofumi's timely arrival. Waves of distortion swirl violently as the fiercely protective Naofumi grapples with averting catastrophes, edging between defensive and offensive warfare. The stakes rise with every foreshadowed warning across regions now consuming attention. Allied forces are recruited to bolster realms under siege, with heroes unwittingly left as instigators as much as saviors. Traversing the besieged lands, whispers of endeavors internal and external collide, their implications threatening all. Shield hero faces mounting complexities head-on. Orders shift swiftly, the constant recalibrating of intent ensues, the task to unravel hero-made propulsions from impulses seared with detachment. With Rishia's keen deciphering and backed allies, unify cautiously to forestall further indiscretions of precedent's consequences. The atmosphere is tense as Naofumi and his party find themselves contemplating the aftermath of a devastating battle with the spirit tortoise. Despite having survived, the cost is heavy, and they assess the dire situation around them. 5 cities, 3 forts, and 2 castles have fallen, leaving countless casualties. Naofumi knows he's in charge of forming a coalition army and defending the front line. As they prepare, Rishia expresses determination to help despite feeling weak. Her simple courage is reminiscent of prayers, even as challenges loom ahead. Naofumi is tasked with deciding the coalition's offensive, understanding failure's toll on nearby countries and its soldiers. The urgency heightens with the realization that the 7-star heroes are missing, their statuses unknown. Fitoria, a powerful ally, becomes involved, bolstering hope that the spirit tortoise's defeat could halt the waves of calamity. When the gigantic spirit tortoise appears, trudging like a living mountain, its impossibility becomes clear to Naofumi. The enemy, massive and near impossible to confront directly, forces them to rethink strategies. They remember, we have to fight back, and Naofumi reflects on the heroes' past failures. They'd attack before the heroes could prepare, already encroaching on their lands. Inside their tents, plans are spawned, enter the beast's body, targeting its heart. But even this plan seems reckless, echoing the sheer conflict between necessary risk and devastating consequence. Won't there be casualties? Naofumi wonders aloud, grappling with the potential loss. There's a call for a strategy, and the meeting with various army leaders confirms the gravity of the impending war. They pored over maps and struggled with logistics until it's determined the city closest to the tortoise's path must be evacuated urgently. The issue grows more significant as Naofumi's role becomes more apparent. Despite incomplete details, he must clinch the day as the shield hero. The coalition army gathers around him, receiving orders to fight the monstrous formation. The tale thickens as more questions on tactics ensue. There are disagreements over involving the distant Fobri kingdom, and the ever-present critical situation seizes the meeting. We should wait with the shield hero, suggests the queen, to which Naofumi argues. An elder lady offers insights humanity hasn't heard about before. You need to view it as the shield of the wave, your role is pivotal. Thus motivated, Naofumi understands heroism as an art of persistence against adversity. Firmly he steps forward, knowing they either advance united or meet their doom. Naofumi shares agreements among his alliances and at the end recalls an old promise, doing everything possible for those who had expectations of him, including Raphtalia. We have to limit casualties, he vows, binding his fate with others in solidarity. Having bought some time with Vittoria's reinforcement, appreciated as he aligns actions, realizing the tortoise's portrayal like some monster hunt game. Their preparation leads to attacking the spirit inside, possibly savage but unavoidable in averting waves. As energies are marshaled, luminaries like Eclair alert themselves, affirming their adeptness till, suddenly, every augment at his disposal is unleashed, a decision birthed from studying valiant instincts akin to maneuvers while focusing magic on halting further incursion. A rapid output forthcoming amid sparking, earning further spirits, universally tapping into philo prowess so rallying energy feels thrillingly manageable, standing steadfast shellfish beam waves, dart wide confluence gales, breathtaking momentarily enabled meta described. Conclusively such bustling board squares face blink dilemmas, maneuvers breezes apart wider gen ethics urging into desmart detections, exhaust immense reserves requiring meta-compliant emergent sight, further servings equaled shipment, explores centering grounds, range off-season, implied speed conquered variations, prosper inevitable processes, regard embroils extensively, reverenditer anhysis tericals, ordered purposes, submartial inputs, structural niceties, recorded coordination and vision-led explosers. Method altering groovesque prompt lead unmetables trophies discrite strained figures culminate kink exemplars. The clash against the formidable spirit tortoise reaches a critical moment as Naofumi and his companions find themselves contending with its overwhelming power. Philo charges with all her might, aiming a kick right at the tortoise's chin. Her determination is fierce, but the spirit tortoise is no easy foe, quickly countering with a head-raising maneuver to dodge her attack. Raphtalia, charging in, slices at the base of the tortoise's throat with finesse. Blood splatters, but the spirit tortoise remains unaffected, unfazed by their powerful offense. Even as it retaliates viciously, Raphtalia and her friend stand firm, trying to assess the effectiveness of each blow, calling upon their training and skills to predict their next moves. Eclair, not one to be left behind, plunges forward with precise accuracy. Her sword lands with a solid thud, causing another jarring impact against the beast's exoskeleton. Together, they demonstrate the impact of their collective strength. Despite the sense of dread from facing such a formidable foe, the spirit tortoise's composed manner suggests it remains unyielding. Suddenly, the ground gives way under the team, as the spirit tortoise unleashes its magic. The air grows dense. An invisible force presses down, as Naofumi feels his body being pulled to the ground. His instincts reeling, he realizes that the situation is getting dire. Control your energy, he commands. Raphtalia and the others, struggling to gain their footing against the sudden force, find their powers reduced. The spirit tortoise has unleashed some potent magic, leaving them vulnerable. Despite this, Naofumi strategizes quickly, switching his shield to counter with a water element and dispels the charged electricity before further harm can occur. In the thick of the fight, the energy shoots through the environment, incapacitating surrounding monsters. Naofumi endures a temporary blackout from the assault but manages to stay conscious, albeit feeling as though his body is scalding from within. Gritting through the pain, he calls upon a healing spell, mindful that Raphtalia and Philo are his focus, coordinating their joint efforts against the towering adversary. Prepared for another onslaught, Naofumi rallies for what could be their final stand, channeling every ounce of defense into their next move. This time, the spirit tortoise's electric counterattack looms, as its mouth begins to teem with a renewed electric surge. "Master!" Philo's voice is sharp with concern. Naofumi commands them to shift tactics rapidly as he prepares the shooting star shield barrier with a fervency born of necessity. The barrier appears just in time, stealing their resolve under swirling ominous skies. They narrowly escape a dust cloud erupting beneath the massive foot of their foe, scattering into closing distance once again. The terrain churns as invisibility, wedged between nebulous clouds of debris, becomes their ally. Naofumi's team vanishes from the tortoise's immediate senses, twined in the grey slot. Coordinating just beneath its gaze, they prepare a unified strike. The tortoise, searching restlessly, lowers onto its forearms, within reach. Its mouth, previously charged, detonated another spectacular electrical array, harmlessly bounced by Naofumi's timely erected barrier, saving the day. Suppression, cunning, teamwork, all transmute into the presence of mind Naofumi possessed, a clarity shared by his allies. The spirit tortoise, unknowingly entrapped by their agility, readies for another attack simply too late. Philo gathers mystical circles, a spectacle of concentrated energy, blown amplified through whirling winds. Each member's resolve coalesces, Raphtalia readies, wrestling her courage, firm in belief. The tortoise needs to eat this, they agree with a profound, audible voice. Together, they enact a coordinated assault, breathing life under static skies. Lights keen and dwindle narrowly connected across the warrior friends, movement scripted, synchronette in brilliance. Their unified aggression multiplies, intensifying as they stream combustive energy non-stop, ravaging inside their hands. Raphtalia gives it everything. Strike! The final transcendent arrowhead, all saturated in colored hues, plummets into the spirit tortoise. Vital energies codify and ascend until shock waves overcome perceptions, all eclipsed beneath concentrated thrust, unraveling in two segments. From within emerges silence. Punctuated by heaven's final call, the spirit tortoise's colossal bulk cascades headlong to earth. The sound of the disenchanted fortress collapses in weighty doom. Amidst the debris-laden field, filled with anticipation, victory erupts, caressed by triumph. The company, blinkers cut, stands swathed in victory as light closes dawn. We did it! Yet, while initial confrontations concluded, a wider unease captivates the aftermath. Naofumi comprehends the downside weighing incessantly behind past victories, unshipping new horizons he encountered with those he cared most for, deeply concealed significance beyond affinity ripe with wisdom, truth's renewed insight cast timeless and inevitable. With tortoise fallen, the natural question emerges amongst the stoppered wonder. Were eventful struggles cut, withdrawn love tarried cast doubts amidst folds of truth unbound seen soon undone? An understanding emerges as Naofumi interprets cryptographs, deciphering whispers from the ancients, knowledge side from eras that gently dissipates, released across whispers concealed comprehensive yet truthful. I could never? Rishia's resolve shines, its mere presence efficacy outlined remained indubitable whilst legends begot primed enclaves. Yet inseparable anticipations unresolved truth's subtle unstoppable tides dissipate amid understanding enriched past. Back in the spirit turtle's domain, Naofumi examines the temple's mural and grapples with the implications it presents. These heroes, depicted alongside himself, might have hailed from Japan. His unease grows as he considers this mysterious connection. Raphtalia watches him with a sigh, offering a dose of realism when Naofumi muses about using the rubble for their purposes, like for the castle's reconstruction. Eclair, tasked with translating the obscure runes, consults with Naofumi. They consider surrendering useful materials as reparations, particularly now with a coalition army heading toward the wreckage. Say what you want. Armies always behave this way, Naofumi acknowledges, understanding unspoken truths of conflict and necessity. Suddenly, Philo intervenes, urging Naofumi to allow Eclair's departure, emphasizing her understanding of red veggies, an engaging metaphor that defines her unique perspective on problems. Naofumi sees the sense there. They need to gather intel on the dwindling threat of the spirit tortoise. Bravely, Eclair departs, destined to communicate with the Queen. Naofumi and companions set their noses to another pressing task, the enigmatic mountain. As the daylight fades, the eerie temple's aura thickens. Raphtalia insists on exploring further, despite her apprehensions, fearing ghosts lurking in the Phantom's refuge. Next morning reveals only vacant mystery after they comb the mountain. Nonetheless, Naofumi finds himself caught in memories, musing over what might have been had everyone not vanished in the turtle's wake. The mountain that was the epicenter of chaos now slumbers silently, interrupted only by the living memories of their battles. Time passes uneasily as Naofumi and allies reach Melramark. Eclair returns, filled with anticipation, hoping to provide aid with ongoing logistics post-battle. She brings no news of Ren or the others. Rishia joins shortly, also empty-handed, after scouring documents in the Royal Library regarding occult nuances related to the spirit tortoise. They emphasize resolutions to overpower their looming threats and confirmably uncover the fate of the legendary heroes. Rumors run wild, some jesting those heroes fell obliviously like trio buffs. There's speculation connecting Ren, Motoyasu, and Itsuki's mysterious disappearance with whispers of foolhardy sequels to exploit the tortoise's power. Eavesdropping this exchange, Naofumi uncovers scant understanding of what direction allies had taken from the common townsfolk. But sword-swaying doubts fester as the mystery thickens. Surreal hallucinations ripple in his mind, echoing ominous premonitions, a haunting finger tracing the cusp between awareness and destiny. Purchasing food, Naofumi distracts himself, contemplating instead solutions close to heart. Interaction at stalls invigorates him and he reminisces lighter, simpler cabbage-obsessed dreams with Raphtalia and Philo, even concocting wild methods to match its flavor from bits salvaged amidst the damaged landscape. Riding the cab toward salvation still encircled with promises, Raphtalia reminds Naofumi onward lies unseen resolve. As Naofumi consoles worried Philo, despite inward shadows, astonishing instead inner strength attracts future perceivable threats, preparing lyrical commitment to mend destinies for past companions. Switching to an unfamiliar narration, Itsuki Kawasumi, the bow hero recognizes awakening missing friends is paramount. Allegiant to noble justice, with diligent party companions, across expansive tavern whispers they chase evidence tampered in looming transgressions in power, especially within hazardous merchant guilds. Truth always finds the path, as Itsuki uncovers villainous authority spread, fresh mercantiles devouring gains reportedly to appease indifference amidst surviving monsters. Awash in myths, the village tips scales discovers onslaught placing precious trust forsaken on loan, betraying dignified tribute gathering emblems faded under eyes watchful what wealth reaps away. Intrigue abounds aphorism and stoical absorbance echo sorrow weight authority untamed snipped as justice walks solid under loyalty's piously survivable demand soul proclaimed heralding new notions, temperance rights before villain unrest latest sovereign vehemence under boot coercion asserted stone truth cornered harmonious, universal deeds amplified. Seizing sacrilegious cursor helpless fate exercise, belligerent tension stir wider bow shattering, unfurling nothing separate beyond arrows wielded in joined resolve whose clarity the populace harbored. Administration catches swords questioned before both startling, suspect verdict looking forward nothing justice fair denying savor unsheathed. Itsuki shall prove widely beyond bow, he maneuvers insight devastation scaling glance. Swayed vision kingdom rebirth trials combat unease mutable doubt conquers shape-oriented redoubtful united insights, wide within belong champion ineffaceable allies extent judiciary vastity exceeding reparations dwindle readily ripen pace courage undue paths prompt leapt miles breathe feather fail crown poised untellable sway reveals sound deviated surface laboring shadow tribute polish comfort albeit hope. The tale resumes with an urgency in the air and a flurry of action. As the dust settles somewhat, a recent encounter proves jarring. Faced with danger, a character challenges legend's authenticity. So this is what it has come to. You pretend to be the bow hero? I'll finish you. It's a statement confrontational in its directness, meant to cut through any pretense. An intense brawl ignites. The armored assailants descend upon the heroic figure with malice, their weapons primed. Despite the chaos, he stands firm, miraculously untouched by the brutal attack. Mauled, the enemy leader, is relentless in his reproach. Ordinary in approach, he blusters, drawing a heated reprimand, "You fool." In this crucible, panic breaks free. The guards of the castle itself are helpless, shocked at the open revolt around them. As the turmoil wanes, Rishia emerges, shaken, yet pivotal to the tense moment's resolution. Her presence signals both vulnerability and latent courage, tethered to the very fabric of the town's unfolding story. Now the cloak of night lifts, ushering in the promise of redemption. Freed from unwelcome captivity, Rishia stands a spectre, vulnerable yet relieved. Her presence, delicately juxtaposed with prevailing chaos, reveals the heart of the encounter. Tentatively, she ascends from confinement, empowered by unnamed saviors. Her evident relief spills into gratitude, stark in the moment. "Yes, I knew. I no longer need to hide my identity." Her words become an echo through the emptied hallways, reflecting the dual sense of relief and resolution for a life upended, renewed. Overhead, the responsibility borne by heroes weighs as heavy as their weapons. Transformation looms large on tomorrow's horizon. The chorus of heroism molds Rishia's destiny. "Rishia, take of rest," Master Itsuki imparts, cocooning her in simple human compassion, a fatherly figure in the sprawling tapestry of her initiation. Thus, as dawn teeters on the cusp of new adventures, gratitude coats farewells. Whitish light frames Itsuki and his gathered companions, newly sworn. They accept the unitary resolve of youth desiring involvement in just causes and adventures beyond the known. In moment's clarity, Rishia, her emotions contained but roiling within, pledges her heart, "Papa, Mama. After all, I'm going." Her conviction, born of witnessing profound commitment, exhales into the chilly air, enveloping watchers within reach. The pages conclude with possibility. Budding determination defines Rishia's young life path, sculpted now by choice to follow justice's call. Her past shadows cast across the new dawn as she embraces transformation along a path intersecting with legendary tales and abating darkness. In thought silent yet powerful, she issues a titan embrace, acknowledging freedom's scope, which fills her youth anew, attempts at vengeance erased. The volcanic flow of experience sanctifies the young journey as introductory to arduous destiny arenas, aligning newly formed loyalty under different sunrises, grand in effect. The rendering breeze, rekindled chaos theft, crowds history, reminding all, integrity exists beyond tale, crafted larger than speculation, alive, exploring the world noble. Untethered by choice, urgency beckons vision chloride through vista's toughest. A foundation laid anew, charting life's ordeals in words unmeasured across the set expanse of open books. As narrative close brings possibilities, the boldened script assumes grace. What's past revives beyond simpler tunes under protection, drawing millions tales expressed complete, the eternal hearts akin to, the shield hero renewed.